Here are my predictions. Mitch Raposo versus Andre Lima. Now, I'm going to be going with Andre Lima simply because Mitch Raposo is coming off a loss to Jake Hadley, and that's his only fight that we can really base him off of. So I feel like that's not really fair, and I'm just going to give Andre Lima the benefit of the doubt, I guess. I'm going to give him the win by default. Plus, he went against a carnivore in his last fight, so he's got to win this one. Next, we have Mickey Gall, the man that beat CM Punk, versus Basil Hafez, the man that beat Jack Della Maddalena. And yeah, those betting guys down there aren't wide enough, in my opinion. Basil Hafez should run through Mickey Gall with little to no trouble. This fight is where things get tricky because either way, either person could win here by knockout. Phil Rowe could win by staying at a distance and picking Matthews apart from there, and then when Matthews gets hurt, closing in the distance and finishing him off. Jake Matthews makes this a dirty fight, pushes him up against the cage, let off on his combinations. He could possibly put Phil Rowe out. Now, Phil Rowe, from what I've seen, is a survivor. He's very tough to put away. He'll engage in the clinch when he needs to, if he's hurt enough. Both guys are also very decent on the ground, so this is going to be a very tricky fight, very tricky to know who would win, but I'm going to go with Jake Matthews. I think he's going to put the pressure on Phil Rowe and finish him against the cage, but that's a very, very risky one. I wouldn't bet on it if you are a bettor. Grant Dawson is back after getting absolutely slaughtered by Bobby Green, and I feel like he's going to come in here with a chip on his shoulder, and he's about to run through Joe Solecki. Now, I don't think this will be an easy fight at all for Grant Dawson, but I do think he has the entire skill set, no matter where the fight goes, to overwhelm Joe Solecki. Only thing that worries me now about Grant Dawson is obviously his chin, so look out for that one. This is going to be either the most boring fight on the card or the most boring fight in history, no in between. I do, however, have Jailton Almeida winning no matter which version of Romanov shows up, but Romanov does have something that Jailton Almeida doesn't seem to have, and that's okay stand-up game. And as we've seen, if you have a stand-up game and you can compete with Jailton Almeida on the ground, you can probably beat this man pretty easily. But if the fat Romanov shows up, you got the man who's gonna gas out quickly. If the in-shape Romanov shows up, you got a man who won't gas out as fast and can compete with Jailton Almeida on the ground. I'm gonna just tell you this: if a healthy in-shape Romanov shows up, he's gonna win. If an unhealthy, out-of-shape Romanov shows up, he's gonna lose. Simple as that. I'm posting this after the weigh-ins on purpose. You be the judge. Probably the best fight on the card, Cesar Almeida versus Roman Kopylov. Now, most people think this is going to be just a kickboxing fight, in which I disagree. I think Roman Kopylov knows that in the stand-up, he is going to have a lot of trouble, and I think he is going to go for takedowns. Not just to, lay on him and stay there. I feel like he's going to go for takedowns to make Cesar Almeida think about that takedown. And we know how takedowns affect the fighter's mentality. If a fighter is worried about getting taken down, his striking is naturally going to worsen as the wrestlers, or in this case Roman Kopylov's striking, is going to be a lot better because he has his opponent thinking about a takedown. In order for a game plan like this to work, however, he has to shoot for the legs multiple times, not just one or two times. And it gets even better for him if he's able to complete a takedown on Cesar Almeida. I think this fight's probably going to go for every single round on the card. We're in for an entertaining fight here, but I'm going to go with Roman Kopylov by a third round. No, I'll say a decision. Roman Kopylov by decision. This fight is still tricky to me because Randy Brown is like one of his greatest weaknesses is when the fighter pressures him and gives him no space at all to breathe. Now, obviously, if Dos Santos gives Randy Brown room to work, it is only going to be his demise. He must make this a dirty fight, and it seems from what I've seen in his past, I don't think he's going to be able to cover that distance that Randy Brown is going to have on him. Randy Brown has a lot of distance between him and Dos Santos. A 5-inch reach advantage, and he's way taller than Dos Santos as well. This is going to be very tricky for Dos Santos, and I think Randy Brown is going to capitalize on that and probably knock him out. I'll say in the second round. Nico Price versus Alex Morono. I would normally go with Nico Price, but Nico no longer is in his prime, no longer can take a punch the same. Chinny. Don't get me wrong, Nico Price has the power to knock anyone out. The problem is anyone has the power to knock him out. This is who they should be putting Tony Ferguson against, honestly, but I feel like Alex Morono is definitely going to win this fight by a landslide, probably in the first round as well. I'll go by first round submission, actually. This is a scrap just waiting to happen. Both of these guys are going to have a lot of trouble with each other. When Mikal closes the distance on Kevin Holland and pushes Kevin Holland up to the fence, it's going to be horrible for Kevin Holland, but I think Kevin Holland has a chin to take anything that is coming his way. Unless MVP took his chin in the last fight, you don't know. He took a lot of perfectly precise and clean shots from MVP, and although, yes, he didn't get knocked out, that does have an effect on your chin. But at the same time, Kevin Holland is not someone you'd want to trade with. Kevin Holland is known for knocking people out, whether at middleweight or at welterweight. That right hand of Kevin Holland is devastating if he lands it, and Mikal is someone who it can definitely land on. And if you think about the ground game, it kind of equals out in my opinion. I think Kevin Holland is a little bit better. He's slicker with the submission attempts and stuff like that, but I do think Kevin Holland is going to win, and this will be a scrap. I'll say he wins by third round, late KO. Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa is yet another very tricky one. See, most people think Sean Strickland and his defensive boxing style would be able to absolutely shut down Paulo Costa, and I understand it, but at the same time, Paulo Costa is someone who can not only compete with him on the feet, but the kicks are going to be a big worry. Now, I know we all saw Sean Strickland shut down Israel Adesanya by first shutting down Israel Adesanya's kick game. The problem is Israel Adesanya only really went for leg kicks and didn't really do anything else outside of that with the kicks. Paulo Costa, however, will be the person to hit you with a couple of leg kicks and then throw a spin kick at you. And don't kid me, they are fast and they are powerful. He rocked Robert Whittaker with it. And that's the part I think people are really overlooking, the fact that Paulo Costa isn't going to just throw normal kicks. He's going to invest into the body, and he's going to throw spinning kicks, head kicks, body kicks. You have to pass kicking range before you can enter boxing range. This is going to be very tricky for both fighters. The way it plays out all really depends on the night, honestly, but I do think Sean Strickland will probably win this one by an extremely close decision. I think it's going to be controversial, and most people will probably think it's a robbery, but I'm going to say Sean Strickland by decision. I'm sorry, guys, but I do think Islam is going to win. I think Islam is going to shut down the striking of Poirier, back him up to the fence, take him down, and probably submit him in the first round. But guys, no matter what I think, my heart really wants Dustin Poirier to finish the story. I need to see Dustin Poirier be undisputed champion, and what better way to do it than to beat Islam? Come on, Poirier, you gotta pull through. You gotta shine bright, please. It's a tough task in front of you, but I believe if anybody can do it, it's you. Come on, Poirier, finish the story.